everybody, what's happening? This is Snake Sable from Skid Row, and you are watching 80s Metal Recycle Bin. We asked the person to join the band when we had never really met them. Like, we had passed each other when we were touring together and stuff. They had opened up some shows for us in Europe in his band Heat. And so we had some interaction there, albeit very brief. But we were aware of him. He was definitely on the radar, hence why we got in touch with him.
My band Heat, we opened for Skid Row in the UK in 2017-18, I think. Sorry. So I think they found out about me when we did that tour. But then Rachel Bolan of Skid Row contacted me in end of February, and he was like, hey, can you do a residency in Vegas in March?
What are we gonna do? We have a residency coming up. What are we gonna do? We've got a record to finish. So,
you know, we met face to face in person in the same room on a Tuesday, and our first show was on I think the first show was a Friday or Saturday. It's like we got to Vegas on a Tuesday, we rehearsed Wednesday and Thursday, took the day off, and our first show was on that Saturday. And we got into, we got into the rehearsal room out in Vegas, and we played, and we're like, well, we have to be ready, because Saturday's the first show with the Scorps.
We were at a situation where it was kind of like, if this doesn't work, we've got big problems.
And we played, and I remember Scotty and I, while he was talking, went around the back line to get a drink of water, and Scotty's like, how are we gonna keep up with this kid? He's like, I'm gonna have to pace myself. So
that's kind of where we were. I mean, we had only met him 4 days before our first show. Like, that's the most insane thing in the world.
Yeah, but like that energy is infectious. His energy that he brings and on stage, and I'm like, I've never like watched our singer. Like, he's so entertaining to watch. He's like this, like, if you take Iggy Pop and Freddie Mercury and a couple other people and smash them together.
And we were just going on nothing but gut instinct based on what he had done online.
I know they also watched the cover I did of 18 on Life on my YouTube channel. I think that's how they found out about me, and he contacted me in February, and first it was just he asked me if I could fill in for a couple of shows.
So Rachel made the initial contact with him, and we played it really vague and said, you know what, you did such a great job with 18 in Life, and you have such a great voice, and we've been watching your stuff online. So we rehearsed again on Thursday. It was awesome, and we're like, we don't even need to rehearse tomorrow. So we took off Friday, and the first show was Saturday. So he showed up Tuesday, we all met for the first time, and we were on stage Saturday in front of the Scorpions.
He's so entertaining to watch, even from being on stage with him, you know, and like Scotty said, he goes, I always know where Eric is on stage because you just got to see where everyone's looking.
Here's the kind of guy he is. This showed so much character to us, is that after the show on that Saturday night, it was either that night or the next morning, he said, can we get together so you guys can let me know what I'm doing wrong and what I could do better and stuff like that. And I thought that was really something. Like, that just showed, like, this is the beginning. This isn't the pinnacle. This is just the very beginning. So we sent it to him, and he sent it back in about 24 hours maybe. And Rachel got it, Nick got it, our producer Nick Raskulinitz, and I got it.
A couple of weeks later, he sent me a new song called The Gang's All Here. And he asked me if I could record some vocals to it and just give it a try.
Holy shit. Like, this is for real. And then, okay, we're like, okay, let's calm the jets a little bit. Let's send him another song or two and see what happens. So we make sure this isn't like some sort of anomaly. And we did. We sent the 2 more songs and it came back, and it was amazing.
I think just by the reaction of the first 2 singles, I think people are really going to be into it. And the process of getting it to where it is and where it ended up had a lot to do with Nick Raskulinecz, who was our producer.
I get a text from Rachel and a text from Nick going, "Have you listened to this yet?" I'm like, "No, I'm in the SKID club. I can't really listen." And they both go, "Next level, game changer."
He was a fan. He's a friend, and he pulls no punches. It's like full contact production. You know, we'd go in with a song and be like, "Ah, it sucks, dude. It sucks." And you can't get your feelings hurt. And he said something that it stuck with me. It still does. "You guys sound like you're afraid to be Skid Row."
You know, it was initially, we realized that we were going in different directions with ZP and our previous singer. And so it was obvious. And we're in the middle of making a record. And we're like, we have to do something right now. We have to do something right now. This is not working for the future.
Just like, at first I took offense to it, and I'm like, man, he's right. He is right. It's like, we're afraid to sound too Skid Row. He goes, "More Skid Row. Snake, do something like you did on The Threat, or in Scotty, do something you did like on Can't Stand the Heartache," and this and that. And like, his knowledge of the band seemed to be deeper than ours.
I think there's a familiarity that people will be reminded of when they maybe first fell in love with the band. You know, what's interesting about the songwriting process, and as you progress from record to record, our mentality had always been like, we don't want to regurgitate what we've done. We want to move forward, if you will, or somewhere else than where we were with the previous record. And then all of a sudden, 35 years later, you realize, man, we're kind of pretty far away from where we started. Maybe we need, and we didn't know this. We didn't point this out to ourselves. Nick Raskulinecz did. He was the guy that came in and said, I want to show you guys, I want to show Skid Row how to be Skid Row again.
And he was the guy that you know, got us to retrace our steps, because man, it's not easy when you're 35 years into a career. And he got us to that point, and then all of a sudden it just came back. Everything seemed natural when we would write a song.
You know, and he's just looking for ways to make Skid Row the best band that we can be, which I love, because that's what we want. It's not about, you know, elevating myself as an individual part of a band. It's about me helping to elevate the band. That's everybody's viewpoint. You know, Rachel, how he helps elevate the band, how the 5 of us together help elevate the band.
Man, the business is so different now than it was in like '88 when we first signed to Atlantic.
He would challenge us to search and find that essence of who we were as individuals when we first started the band, and what the core of this band is.
What Eric brought to the band is like a rebirth of Skid Row, and I see a lot of comments online, they're back, they're back. This song, yes, they're back, and that makes me feel really good.
Do you know how it feels to be here on stage with your favorite band of all time singing the song that started your career?
You see my face on the TV, you hear my voice on the